So it's excellent that you stayed for Sunday. You will not be disappointed. There are a lot of people backstage that we're going to bring out. You're going to talk to them. We're going to ask some questions. And we will get to say a lovely collective farewell to some people. I know. So they literally just finished 3 days ago shooting the Doctor Who Christmas special. They have just wrapped. Rachel Talley, who directed the episode, isn't even in the editing room yet. They knew they could not show up without bringing a little something to share with you guys. So this is just a very quick glimpse into what they've been doing for the Doctor Who Christmas special. So we're gonna get it! Honestly, it feels like I was just talking to you for the first time when you became the Doctor. Yeah. And this many years have passed, and you can see here from their reaction, you can see what these people in the audience are feeling, that they love you. They love you. What has this last few years been like for you?
Fantastic. It's amazing, but yeah, time ran away with me. I don't know how we got here so quickly.
Yeah.
Terrifying. But it's just been fabulous to work with all of these guys, to work with such talent, and also to meet you people, to realize that the show is so popular and so beloved all around the world. It's remarkable to find yourself at the center of that. So thank you for all of your affections.
Let's talk a little about the Christmas episode. Obviously, it was amazing that you were able to even put that together, because I know you literally just wrapped.
Yeah.
So what can you say about the Christmas episode? Is there any information that you have, and what can people look forward to?
Well, I kind of think you've probably figured out what we're doing here, in part. It's the 12th Doctor refusing to regenerate because he wants to stay Scottish. And as he staggers out the TARDIS through the snow, appears the First Doctor, also refusing to regenerate. And it's the two of them, it's the 12th Doctor saying to number one, listen, you have to or all this stuff won't happen. And the First Doctor saying, well, what about you? They go off on a crazy adventure with Mark Gatiss and Bill Potts. And decide whether or not they're going to carry on, which of course they are.
Right. And David Bradley is amazing. He was in Adventure in Space and Time.
Yes, exactly.
So the idea that you would get the guy who played William Hartnell to then play the First Doctor, how long ago did you start crafting that?
The New York Comicon. This moment must be on video, because somebody asked about the choice of doctors and Day of the Doctor, and I said, well, obviously the Doctor you'd want to come and meet, the modern Doctor, is William Hartnell, but he won't return my calls.
Right.
And Peter said, well, we could just get David Bradley. So I presume on video I'm going, oh yeah. I did, and I have to say, his recreation of William Hartnell is absolutely extraordinary. There are moments, if you put it in black and white, you could fool people. It gives it such twinkle, such grace, and because of his background knowledge, or his considerable knowledge from Mark's wonderful movie, he just captures what the First Doctor was really like. Not the crotchety old man of legend, but a much twinklier, funnier, more engaging man than that.
Right. Pearl, I think people are very excited to see you.
I'm pretty excited too, to be honest. Oh, thank you.
Did you feel it right way, when you first came into the show, did you understand the fandom and did you feel the swell that was happening?
Well, I think when I was announced, it was pretty epic. You know, the response was large, but by no means is it compared to the amount of people that are sitting in front of me. Yeah, it's amazing. So no, I think the short answer is I don't think I was prepared for how powerful the Doctor Who fandom is. I think it's such an incredible thing, and it's such a gift to be able to be part of this family. It's wicked. Thanks for having me.
You may have already confirmed or denied this in the press, but you're not coming back after the Christmas special. You are.
No, that's it. After that, yeah, Christmas special, last chance to see Bill. But I mean, hey, it's Doctor Who, so never say never.
So just a little bit, can you talk a little bit about who Bill was to you, and what did you learn about her throughout the process? Was she different by the end, by the time you came out the other end of it, in your mind?
Yeah, I mean, she was a Cyberman.
Not quite, though. I mean, she does get rescued in a beautifully romantic, which, by the way, the girl with the star, I haven't figured out, is that still the girl, or is it the pilot? Like, or is there traces of her in there still?
Well, it's still her.
Okay.
Yeah, she's retained her personality, but she's transformed, as people sometimes do, into an all-powerful alien entity who can rescue you romantically in your hour of darkest need. And don't we all need that?
Absolutely. Someone with a star eye rising out of a puddle to say, "I will take you," and then go off. So, what did you? What was special to you about Bill, and what are you going to miss the most?
I think what was really special to me about Bill was that she's so real. I think she feels very. There's so many different elements to her. You know, she's very quick-witted and she's very inquisitive. But someone put it quite well today during one of our roundtable interviews. You know, there's sort of like childlike curiosity to her as well, which I think is great because I mean, who wants to grow up? And I think that's one of the things that I really like about her. You know, there's a lot of. She's very strong-minded, and she really believes in what she does, and I think she does everything quite deliberately. But then, you know, accidentally she'll sort of wander off and get nearly dragged into a puddle.
And I emailed Matt Lucas last week just to say that I think Nardole is a triumph. I love him.
Thank you. It's nice to be here. Earth is one of my favourite planets.
I mean, for you, you know, I've assumed that you have always been a huge Doctor Who fan.
Yeah, I mean, growing up I was a fan, and then when I was about 13, they stopped making it for about 1 million years, which was a bit inconvenient. But yeah, it's a pinch yourself moment when you get asked to be in the show. So every single day I walked on set, I felt very, very lucky to be there.
Who was he in the beginning, and where did he come out at the end? What do you think his narrative arc was?
Well, I think the Christmas specials have a slightly different identity to the regular series, in that they're a bit lighter and bolder, because people in Britain on Christmas Day eat turkey, and there's an enzyme in turkey that makes you fall asleep. So the Christmas special has to keep you awake. So Nardole was very broad, I think, at the beginning, and I just thought, oh, I'm just doing a cameo in Doctor Who, what a treat. But across the series, I realised that from a performance point of view, I had to try and find a bit more nuance and texture in there. But also, there was more time and space to develop that in terms of the writing as well. So, yeah, it was good to try and develop different sides of the character. Yeah, and that's my answer.
Oh, wonderful.
What a lovely answer it was.
I just want to say to Michelle, I think Missy is such a stunning. Your portrayal of her is so gorgeous and layered, and Because I think, with a character like the Master or Missy, there could be oh, this is an evil character, but she's not. She really seems like she wants to do good. She's really struggling against her own nature. Did you feel that with her?
Oh, absolutely. It's that tug of war, of shall I do something good or shall I do something bad? Obviously, I'll do something bad. It's just the pull to darkness is too strong. And but what was fun was to sort of toy with the idea of being good, and also I think to get away from that two-dimensional character that she could have been. It could have been black and white. Is to sort of sit in that area, in that kind of grey area of emotionality where it was interesting to possibly try on good for a minute and see how that feels. And it was really hard, actually, when you're looking into a face like Peter Capaldi's with those great big blue watery grey eyes and just want to kind of be his friend, and then obviously not. It was difficult. It was a challenge. He presented me with a challenge. He really did, because it's hard to act with this man and not want to be your best self.
but it's also that arc of friendship.
Yeah.
And these beings who've been around for so long, and that relationships are naturally complex and
well, that's it. There's the history there. That there was a great friendship once, and it is a little bit like that friend that you all had that you were very close with, and then one day that friendship just starts to crack and break, and you have a little bit of distance and time, and then you meet them again 100 years later, and you remember why you deleted them from your phone in the first place. There's that type of dynamic. Love, hate.
And also really fun to see John Sim come back too.
Well, I have to say, if I'm going to love myself, it was very nice to get a chance to love John Sim.
Yeah, but Missy shuts him down. Like, he goes for it. And
Now she does.
She crushed him like a bug. It was all very wrong, Stephen. There was something very wrong about all of that, indeed. But yes, it was an acting challenge that I hope we will.
You wanted to do it with a beard, though, didn't you?
I did it with a beard.
Yeah.
How do you think she's handling dealing? Because everyone would love the opportunity to look at their younger self and say, "Stop being an idiot," because he's obviously very singularly focused, and she's much more grown up and complicated by this point. So, what is it that you think she is really wanting to convey to him in the last moments, where they essentially stab each other in the back?
I heard it's interesting that they kill each other. Somebody suggested it might have been suicide. That's a little dark. I think it's just that you've just got to stay open to whatever is put in front of you and stay flexible, and that would be it.
Excellent.
And so she was just basically telling John Sim to do some yoga.
Mark, what about you for the season? What has this season meant to you? What has this been like so far, and kind of knowing that it's ramping down and things are about to change?
Well, it's a strange moment. It's the end of several eras, and it has that kind of melancholy to it. But it's been a fantastic season. I think it was a joy to do my Ice Warriors episode and be part of this great new feel for it all. I think it's. Christmas is a terrific episode. I'm very privileged to be in and to be there for Peter's exit with Peter and David and Pearl. We've had a great time doing it. It's a lovely way out, and it's a very Christmassy episode without being sort of on the nose Christmassy. It's sort of happy sad. It's got all those things that Christmas brings up in you. It's a lovely exit, and we've had a great time doing it.
I want to kind of spend the rest of the panel. We're going to show you a clip. We're going to take a look back at the last few seasons with Peter. We're going to have some time for audience questions. I also want to say that as you exit, I am very excited to see Jodie Whittaker come in as 13. At the same time, I'm also very sad to see you go. And this is the thing that the show has done with us since the beginning, which is someone new comes in, there's about 5 minutes where you're like, I don't know about this, and then after 2 episodes you're like, please don't go anywhere ever, you know?
That was the same speech you made the last time I was here.
It's 100% true. Not any less true. You're absolutely right, because that's what the show does every single time. And you can see in Pearl and Gnarl, like everyone is freaking out that, you know, you saw the, oh, don't go anywhere, you know? I mean, this show is about attachments and having to rip that away and get reattached the entire time, which spiritually is what it must feel like to be the Doctor, I would imagine.
Well, it's astonishing. I just wanted to say that I think Jodie's going to be amazing. I spoke to her the other day, and she's so full of excitement and so full of passion about the show. She really, really loves the show, and she's a brilliant actress. So it's really, really thrilling to know that it's in the hands of somebody who cares for it so deeply, and is going to do really, really exciting things with it. So she's a great choice, as far as I'm concerned.
Yes, I agree.
I just feel, I don't know why it's a bit tokenistic to cast a human as the Doctor.
We're making progress. You know, we're making progress.
Can I just say something as well? I just wanted to, because I'm sure a lot of people in this room are feeling exactly as I do. There is so many press articles about a backlash among Doctor Who fandom against the casting of a female Doctor. There has been no backlash at all. The story of the moment is that the notionally conservative Doctor Who fandom has utterly embraced that change completely. 80% approval on social media. Not that I check these things obsessively. And yet so many people wanting to pretend there's a problem. There isn't. In fact, it strikes me the Doctor Who fans are more excited about the idea of a brilliant actress playing the part than the fact she's a woman. It's been incredibly progressive and enlightened, and that's what's really happened. I wish every single journalist who is writing the alternative would shut the hell up.
A fan of Doctor Who, you innately couldn't be upset by that because Time Lords can regenerate into anything, so you're an asshole if you... But you're not a real fan of the show if you don't accept this. It is 100% within, I mean, like everything about it. So, but I really want to spend the last bit of time talking about you and being able to send you off here at Comicon. It's very special that you all were here. We put together just a few minute clip from the last few years of you as the Doctor. So let's.
Standing ovation. Why stand?
Do whatever you want.
What a great show. This guy created this show. Every shot you saw there came through this gentleman's mind, through his eyes, through his generosity. You know, he's put together an incredible team. He's an incredibly gifted artist. But the message of kindness comes from his heart. And also the creation of a female Doctor comes really from the creation of a female Master. So beautifully by Michelle, who has delivered a multi-layered, hilarious, sinister, and fabulous performance, for which I'm deeply grateful. So Jodie, the idea of a Time Lord being both male and female came from Steve. So. Carol has been an absolute absolutely magnificent new contribution to the show. She stepped into this juggernaut and brought us a real living character in Bill Potts, who has her feet on the ground and her heart in the stars. Which is where we all want to do, right? Matt has come along and delivered a fabulous creation, a whole brand new thing, an alien being who is a sidekick, who's a little bit scary, a little bit funny, and a huge contribution to the show, and who's come into it with a generosity of spirit and kindness, because this is a man who is immensely famous, immensely talented. He stepped up to the plate. With humility and grace, and made season 10 one of the most special seasons ever. Mark, what can I say about Mark? He's a great friend, a great lover and supporter of Doctor Who. I know that sounds a bit odd, that Doctor Who needs lovers and supporters. But the show hasn't always enjoyed the success that it enjoys at the moment. It's not always been the most popular show to hang your coat on. Mark has always been there for the show. He's written some of the most fabulous episodes, and I'm so thrilled that he's finally been able to appear in the show, and I was able to act with him. So thank you very much. Thank you for this San Diego.
Smart Water Award.
You're sensational too.
Oh, stop it. Come on. Thank you. Come back. When you first started, was this experience anything like you had predicted? I know that you were a fan of the show. You know, we've talked about that many times before, but when you were describing the 12th Doctor as a fan, how would you describe him?
As a fan?
Yeah, as a fan.
I love him. He's my favorite Doctor. He's certainly the most handsome. In my eyes. And he's got the biggest hair.
Yes.
His hair had the biggest arc. I think he's an alien. That's what my sort of ambition with him was, to make him not a human being, but whatever strange and mysterious creature the Doctor is. I don't know what kind of creature he is. He has a human sensibility about him. We perceive him as a human, but I don't believe that's what he is. I think he's stranger and darker and cleverer. So I wanted to invest in a sense of that. And also fun and clownishness and silliness and wittiness and all the rest of it. Stephen's nice.
So when you were a child and you were watching Doctor Who, and you probably thought, oh, it'd be really amazing to be the Doctor. Wow, what an amazing opportunity. What was something that you discovered having done this for the last few years? You're like, oh, I never knew it would be like this. Like, what's one thing, what's a piece of advice that you would give, practical advice for playing the Doctor to anyone who might do so?
Get a lot of sleep. Because you're going to be up early every day and be there all the time and learn all your lines. And I never grew up thinking what it would be like to play the Doctor. I just thought the Doctor was the most amazing character that I could see. So I didn't, despite the publicity department's efforts to make everyone believe this, and that they were successful, I didn't spend my whole life grieving about the fact that I wasn't playing Doctor Who. I was just getting on with my life as an actor. But I loved the show and the character deeply. So it was a great thrill and surprise to find myself in it.
And you even just said, this is something that I wanted to ask Stephen about. There was a really nice nugget, specifically I feel like aimed at the fans in season 10, where they actually have the debate of, is he the Doctor or is he called Doctor Who? And a a lot of people, if they go, who's going to play Doctor? People go, it's the Doctor, that's not his name. But other people don't agree with that assessment. So do you have a final word on this either way, or do you think it's just...
I defer to Mr. Chibnall, obviously. But if you take continuity seriously, and be honest, you all do. There isn't any doubt about this. I'm sorry. It was established in the War Machines that his name is Doctor Who.
All right, there it is.
He was called Doctor Who. I'm sorry. And when people call out to you in the street, they don't say, hello, the Doctor. They say Doctor Who. He doesn't often call himself Doctor Who because he's a bloody stupid name. But that must be, when he signs himself Dr. W, the third Doctor had a car with Who on the license plate. He is not a master of subtlety. In order to be mysterious, I'll call myself Doctor Who. However, if you prefer to believe that he calls himself the Doctor and that's just the name of the show, that's also equally true. Because what would Doctor Who continuity be without blatant and unresolvable contradiction?
Nobody's first name is actually Doctor.
Doctor Who?
No.
Yes, it is.
No, he is a doctor. Maybe his first name, we just don't know. Maybe it's Hillary or Michael.
Hi, Michael Who? It's Doctor. All right. Let's take some audience questions because I want to have a little extra time because I know that this is very important for all of you. So what is your name and question?
Hi, I'm Jonah. I'm sorry, I was very taken with this whole panel, actually. Yeah. And first of all, I just want to thank you, Peter and Stephen, for just donating so much of your time and energy to this show and making some unforgettable episodes and some unforgettable years. And what I was wondering is every Doctor kind of has that iconic moment that when you think of that Doctor, you think of that moment. So Peter, what do you think is your iconic moment?
By the way, you don't need to be nervous. That was an amazing question. That was an amazing question.
I think my iconic moment was decided for me, which is the best iconic moments always are, and it was this one. It's where my eyes appeared, and my eyebrows appeared in the 50th anniversary special, and that sort of, I guess, sort of said what my Doctor was going to be. You know, a middle-aged Scotsman with hairy eyebrows. Which there are many.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for your question. Hey, how's it going? Hey, what's going on?
Not much. Comicon.
We worked together. Nice to see you.
Nice to see you too.
Okay, so what is your question?
First, I just want to say, hi Pearl, you're amazing. Thank you.
Hello, thank you.
My question is actually for those who have written episodes. I was wondering, when you're writing, what do you think the most important element of the Doctor's character is to not leave out when you're writing him? Or her.
We're in pronoun hell from now on. Let's repeal gendered pronouns because we're going to be unable to talk.
Oh, Mark, you got anything?
What, not to leave out? Well, I mean, the thing, it's an old cliche, really, but the Doctor is always the Doctor. I think that's what happens. No matter who's playing it, you have a sort of default version. I was just saying to Steve the other day, you know, if you try to come up with a different character in a different sort of show, I sort of think, oh, I know exactly what the Doctor would do here. And it's because there's a huge amount of legacy to draw on, you know. But I think overall, it's a kind of attitude towards the universe, isn't it? It's a sort of basic kindness and but a very, very crooked path to get there. And I think not necessarily by choice, but it's just the most interesting way to get there is to go slightly off-piste all the time. So it's a sort of beautiful eccentricity, I would say.
I think also he's not a professional full-time hero. That's not what he's doing. He's racing around the universe to witness it, to see it, to experience it. What he can't bear, though, is people suffering. He's motivated entirely, irresistibly by kindness. He is the passerby who becomes the last man standing in every situation of terror that he passes. So he's not trying to be that. He just can't help himself from being that. And that's the best story you can tell. The man who fights monsters and yet never becomes one.
But also, I think, it might be, maybe it is purely an accident why the show is called this, but Doctor is the best possible name for her.
Excellent. Thanks, Amy. Hey, button lady.
Hey, Chris.
How's it going?
Congratulations on getting married. And that's a fantastic sweater.
Oh yeah, I just wanted to give a shout out to the lady who made this. Her name is Bridget. She has a website called Draw 4 Designs. She knitted this by hand, and I hope she enjoys that I wore it at Comicon. There it is.
The 3 cast members that have been on stage, that have been on the camera, I'm over here crying because I'm going to miss you so badly. You've been fantastic, especially this last season. Thank you so much for every emotion that you've put me through. So thank you for that. My question's for Stephen. No, I want to talk to all of you, but there's other people who want to ask questions. But my question's for Stephen.
You also have to be careful not to cry because you can't dab your face on anything like ow, 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 ow.
In the first episode this season, in the pilot, the doctor says the stars are made of lemon drops. Is that a reference to Dr. Dolittle?
He says the sky's made of lemon drops.
Listen, you've really got to start paying more attention.
This is basic science. Stars made of lemon drops. That would make no sense. The sky is made of lemon drops. It's physics. Physics. Look it up. It wasn't actually. I think it's isn't it in the song "Somewhere Over the Rainbow"? Rain thing in sky. That is colours. Yeah, that one.
It's actually the song that Anthony Newley sings called "My Friend the Doctor," and he says the stars are made of lemon drops. And I thought maybe
I didn't know that. I instinctively rip off stuff even when I'm not trying to.
Thank you, button lady. Nice to see you this year. Hello.
Hello.
What's your name?
Illyria.
And what is your question?
My question is, what is all of your favorite doctors and companions?
Favorite doctors and companions?
Well, I can now reveal it because I'm leaving, so it's no longer contentious. My favourite doctor, unequivocally, is Doctor Who. Other doctors hang around hospitals and cure colds and no bombs, no time machines, they are not worthy of the name Doctor. Doctor Who, he's awesome.
What is your name?
Hi, my name is Joy, and you guys were all great this season. My question is, were there any improvised moments this season?
Any improvised moments this season? I was mesmerized by the gentleman stroking his beard. Just malevolently stroking his beard. It looks like a Slytherin. Typical Slytherin. Yeah.
The boss has done it again.
Any improvised moments, I think was your question. Any improvised moments?
Well, Peter and Pearl are both looking at me. I kept putting things in, and I'm sorry about that. There was a few. I said some of my best friends are bluish. That was one of mine. There were a few. Yeah. Well, we all. Yeah. I mean. Yeah. We probably all. But we all put stuff in, didn't we? But I was the
Not as much.
I improvised too much, to be honest. Yeah.
And then there's the edit. That's not fair. Actually, my favourite addition that you put in, Matt, wasn't actually a funny line. It was just after the doctor had said his lemon drops line, you said, "Oh, you're very silly sometimes."
Yeah.
I love that line.
I thought you can be very silly sometimes, you know, because I suppose it was because people were always saying, people at that point were saying how silly Nardog was, so I thought it was nice for him, clearly the silliest man in the show, to tell off the most serious man being silly. Yeah. Well, thank you for letting me ruin the show with all that.
Thank you so much for your question. Hi, what is your name?
Hi, my name is Jessica, and I just have to tell Peter again, you are my favorite doctor. You won the game because you encompassed all the doctors within your performance, and I love the nods you did to previous doctors in there. It really gave us a peek into his brain. So, my question though,
Just they're not laughing at you. The guy behind you who looks like he sells drug spells for first years of Hogwarts is continuing to plot something.
thank you.
So I just want to let you know.
Thank you.
I didn't want you to feel.
Thought it was the hair.
Yeah. Your hair's awesome.
Thank you. Heart is blue. So my question is actually for Stephen and Mark. Now that you've worked with Peter as a doctor, would you be interested in having him be a professor with the last name Van Helsing?
What? Sorry. Oh, Van Helsing.
Yes.
Are you trying to get Peter work?
Yes.
Peter, it's not okay to slip them a fiver. We're going to work with you again, mate. Yeah, no, it's not over.
You didn't know my sister was American.
Thank you very much for your question. Hey, what is your name?
Hi, my name's Emily. I didn't think I was get this far, so my question is for the doctor. Now that your whole journey is kind of coming to an end and you can look back on the 3 seasons that you've had as the doctor, is there a moment that you think you could have had or could have had more
Could have been better.
could have been better maybe? No, not
Thanks for that. Almost every moment could have been acted better. No, I think it's it's so fantastic to do the show and recognize the reality of it, which is that it's a kind of it's a TV in the nicest possible way, a television factory. We have to make a show, we have to deliver that show, and we get on with it and do the best we can within the time that's available to us. And sometimes we could have been better, or we could have could not have been better. But we often don't know that. I think actors are not a very good barometer of how good or bad they are being. I'm just grateful that I managed to get through all these years without getting the sack.
I'm pretty sure you couldn't have been much better, Peter, to be honest.
I'm curious for you, Pearl. What are you going to miss the most of this brief journey that you've had?
All of it. I don't know. I feel too attached to it still to look at it as objectively as that. I think maybe after some sleep and a bit of sunshine, I might be able to think about it more clearly. But it's been such an amazing journey. It's such an incredible show, and it's so well loved, and it's so amazing to have been able to work with people who I have admired for many, many years. So yeah, I would say probably that. I think working with all of you guys has been so amazing. So I'll miss that. Let's do it again sometime.
Well, because as an actor, it probably just feels like, oh, okay, well, this, I obviously like the show, but this is it's a job. We got to go to work. We got to get these done, like you were saying. But when you see that it's actually such a lifestyle for people, I mean, people will be cosplaying as Bill for the rest of time now. Like, you are part of the universe now, and that's indelible. And I think, particularly now, it's nice to feel like. To have a world where we see that, oh yeah, okay, it's not all crap, someone has our back out there, someone really does have our back out there. I mean, that form of escapism and that form of hope is really important right now. So something that has been really special for me, being able to watch the show and being like, oh, there is a perfect world somewhere. What is your name?
My name is Russ. And my question is for the cast. There's a lot of great monsters and creatures within the Doctor Who universe, and I'm wondering if you guys have ever thought of something on your own and tried to bring it up, if anything that you really wanted to see has just been outwardly denied, or just you haven't talked about it ever.
Rubber gloves. Rubber gloves coming alive. Just off the cuff there. Great big yellow rubber marigolds that just keep coming at you and type of thing.
I suggested a monster that makes everyone gay. Particularly men between the ages of 22 and 28. They didn't go for that. Sorry, I recognise that.
What about you? Pearl, was there a particular monster that you wanted to see on the show?
Is there a particular monster that I wanted to see on the show? I don't know. Maybe like, I'm thinking kind of like a hair monster. I feel like there's a lot of hair going on the show. There was this season. But I mean, if I stand behind you, then it looks like. Yeah. I mean, I did it earlier.
This is good.
So you see, there is a lot of hair on the show. So I don't know, maybe some kind of wig that just consumes you and gives you an afro. Just sort of off the top of my head.
I'm curious, do you feel like you did everything you wanted to do at this point? Do you feel like there was anything left undone?
Oh, well, there's loads of Doctor Who left undone. It's still got another 400 years to run, so that's fine. I've done what? 40? I've written 42 episodes, and probably rewritten the same number again. I've done as much as I can think of. I think what got me through the end was knowing that there was a finish line. So I love this show more than any other thing I will ever do. I know that. I absolutely know that. But I also know there comes a point where you've kind of done everything you can think of, I can think of. It's time for somebody else to come in and have much better ideas than me. That's the way it works, and that's right and proper. It's emotional to leave, though mostly at the moment I'm having the emotion of thinking, hey, I've got time off. But what I will, the main thing I'll miss, I suppose, is this. I mean, I'll literally in my life never sit in a room of 7,000 people I'm faintly irritating again. It's a unique experience.
What is your name?
Hi, my name is Carmina.
Are you a Dalek?
Yes.
But a Dalek was a fan of all the Doctors, it turns out.
I went rogue.
What is your question, Rogue Dalek?
My question goes to all of the cast. What was your favorite scene to record during season 10?
Your particular scene that sticks out that you like, Peter?
The scene where I got to do Venusian Aikido. That was my most we studied that, Mark and I studied that very intently, making sure that we had a very accurate John Pertwee-esque noise and pose. And I hope he's looking down on us and smiling. And then we got it back.
Michelle, do you have a particular scene this season?
That scene, because I loved Oliver Lansley. We were talking about that early Smurf boy, the blue guy, and he was brilliant. And it was just a fun kind of ensemble day where we all really enjoyed each other immensely.
I can say I obviously really enjoyed working with everyone here, but I'll pick a moment, which is in Oxygen, episode 5, I think it was episode 5, where Nardole runs round a corner and says, "There's a rescue ship on the way." And I loved it because never does anyone with this face get to say a line like that inside. And that's for good reason. And I am never, ever normally entrusted with a line of dialogue like that. So it was just lovely to go, there's a rescue ship on the way. So that was my favourite moment.
What about you, Carl?
I think my favourite was the scene with you and I on the roof, Peter, at the end of, well, not the end, in episode 11, when it was absolutely pissing down with rain. Literally raining like you only get in Wales. You're probably not familiar with it, but it rains a lot. It's just like someone just pouring water onto you and this hair. But I thought it was really lovely. It's really lovely. Just for all of the crew were all kind of there, and we were all sort of just
in it together
and eating wet kebabs, getting more and more progressively damp, but filming this really, really beautiful scene that was just really nice and quiet and honest, and yeah, I think that was my favourite.
Can I just talk really quickly about being down a hole with John Sim and Matt Lucas?
Please.
Whilst Peter Capaldi is being held by a Cyberman, and one of the most beautiful shots where the smoke just clears and we're coming back through into that scene. But basically, Matt Lucas, John Sim and I were sat in wee deck chairs down a massive hole, a big gravel hole, just going, would you like a custard cream? A hobnob, and it was all about the biscuits really, and that I'm sorry has just completely destroyed that moment.
So thank you so much for your question. Hey, what's your name?
Me?
Yeah, you.
Stop that right now, stop it. Stop it. I'm going to eat you. Yes.
Actually, I don't know how to do that. You should take her by the shoulders and just do this.
Shake it out of her.
She wanted to know what was the hardest thing you did in the show.
Oh.
What was the hardest thing you did on the show?
Well, I had to die twice on one day. That was pretty tough.
And I had to keep a straight face when that happened. So sorry.
Peter, what was the hardest?
Leaving it.
Even for him, even for the doctor. I mean, even like that jamming his hands in the snow, that one shot, and he's fighting against regeneration and saying he's fighting against, I don't want to go, I don't want to go.
Yeah.
He, even until the end, is a fighter. So,
Yeah, no, it's you know, every day has its hardships. That's obviously it doesn't, because it's wonderful. But every day there's something difficult. Often, one of the difficult things to do on a regular basis is to look at a monster that's not quite as cosmic as you had hoped, and invest it with all the horror and terror that you had hoped after reading, when you read the script, that you thought the monster was going to be like. But in fact, all that does is make you respect the other doctors more, because we do the show at a time when we have a lot of more money and a lot of technology, and it's amazing. And all of the previous doctors have worked really with a lot of unconvincing latex, cardboard, and rice porridge and stuff. And never for a second have they ever shown you anything other than utter commitment to that truth. So that's great acting. You know, it's really, really good acting when you've got what you want.
So thank you very much. We're going to have one more question. That is you. What is your name?
Hi, I'm Sylvia, and I met Michelle last year, and so you asked me to write a Missy spinoff, and I did. So I'm wondering if there's any possibility that could actually happen.
Oh, thank God I'm going to work again. God, Sylvia, thank God. Just see Marcus Steve at the end, please. And, what? I'm serious. Thank you.
Well, I'm really sorry. I'm very sad to say that this, you know, the doctor says something really beautiful, and I apologize if I'm going to mess up the quote, but it was something akin to, it was in the Dr. Mysterio episode, I believe, and it was everything ends and that's awful, but everything begins again and that's happy. So if I butchered that, I apologize, but that's the ultimate idea. It's very sad to see you go. I know whatever else all of you are going to do, these people will be here for you, and as a sincere fan, I just want to say thank you so much for the last few years, and thank you for what you've done for the last several years. For those of you who are in the show this year or not, it means the world to us. It means the world to us that you are here. So thank you so much for making our lives better. Peter Capaldi, Pat Lucas, Shel Gomez, Mark Davis, and of course Stephen Moffat. Please keep standing because Pearl wants to get a shot with us.